We, the candidates, pledge to uphold the highest standards of conduct and encourage our team and supporters to do the same.
Presidential candidates of political parties sign undertaking for a smooth and peaceful conduct of 2019 elections.
I am declining assent to the bill, principally because I am concerned that passing a new electoral bill.
President Muhammadu Buhari writes National Assembly gives reason for refusing assent to Electoral Act Amendment Bill.
One of the basic rules in journalism is anything we are not sure of, leave out.
National Council on Information underway in Kaduna. And federal government commits to speedy completion of infrastructural projects across the country. Good evening and welcome to NTA Network News, reaching you from the corporate headquarters, Abuja, Nigeria. I am Juma Yusuf. Reading with me from Lagos is Dotun Ogunyemi and Sadia Umar. Presidential candidates and leaders of the various political parties in the country have formally committed themselves to a peaceful and credible conduct of the 2019 general elections. This followed the signing of a 5-point peace accord under the auspices of the National Peace Committee headed by former head of state General Abdulsalam Abubakar. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo, however, reports that the PDP presidential candidate Atiku Abubakar was absent at the crucial event.
It was a crowning moment for the consolidation of all the peace efforts so far made by the National Peace Committee as President Muhammadu Buhari, candidate of the governing All Progressives Congress, joined his counterparts from other political parties to sign the 2018 Abuja Accord. Consequently, the candidates and leadership of their respective political parties have committed themselves to, among others, run issue-based campaigns devoid of religious incitement, ethnic or tribal profiling, oppose all acts of electoral violence, as well as support INEC and other institutions to act and be seen to act with impartiality. President Muhammadu Buhari expressed worry that the conduct of elections has been consistently marred by violence occasioned by the behavior of most sections of the political class and their supporters. Committing to the quest for a peaceful political process, he said, are encouraging signs that the political actors are learning to embrace the responsibilities expected of them.
We, the candidates, pledge to uphold the highest standards of conduct and encourage our team and supporters to do the same. I wish to call on the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, and all arms of security agencies to put the nation first in their conduct. The world is watching us, and the task of building our country, institutionalizing trust in our political system and institutions is fundamental to the growth and development of our country.
In a keynote address, former head of state General Yakubu Gowon said with public good as the overriding goal of democracy, anyone that aspires to lead must be acceptable by the people.
Hate speech during campaigns will do us no good, as a people. The killings and maiming of political opponents cannot help our development agenda. Buying of votes and the suppression of votes can only defeat the essence of democracy.
All the political gladiators should put Nigeria first in their words, in their thoughts, in their actions, and in their deeds.
The parties that have agreed to sign the accord are all believers in peaceful elections.
As for the international community in general, and the EU in particular, we wish to stress our impartiality.
Chairman of the National Peace Committee, General Abdulsalam Abubakar, was emphatic that mere signing of the peace accord will not achieve the desired objectives, hence the need for the political actors to not only accept to work by the same rules, but also be bound by the dictates of truth, decorum, and good conduct.
In our meetings, we have interacted with Professor Yakubu, the chairman of INEC, and his officials, who assured us of the Commission's commitment to conduct free, fair, and credible elections. We are encouraged by this assurance.
A similar peace accord was signed in the build-up to the 2015 elections, which many believed was responsible for the peaceful conduct and smooth transition from the then ruling party to the opposition party. In Abuja, Adamu Sambo, NTA News.
Meanwhile, signatories for the Peace Pact on 2019 elections have described the initiative as a perfect deal and assured commitment to implementing it. Usman Aliu spoke to some of them and now reports.
2019 election is barely 2 months and already Nigerians are debating about it. Campaign messages now inspire conventional media headlines and the social media platforms. And so the General Abdusalami Abubakar Peace Committee, which has been the vanguard for democracy and peace, says it is poised to ensure that players do not deviate from the rules. Therefore, the components of the peace accord is to avoid spreading hatred through creative illusion, which can cause supporters to rise against each other. The United Nations also says they see Nigeria as a leader in Africa and has to do everything possible to support smooth election.
We want to take this opportunity as United Nations to encourage all Nigerian political parties, their leaders, to live up to the pledge they have taken.
Some presidential candidates say what binds them together as Nigerians is more than their ambition, and so they are committed to implementing the peace accord.
If we destroy the country for our personal interests, then we don't have a nation to rule or to govern.
And we have to work hard to see we have peace in this country through all of our electioneering campaign.
It's over 70%. So it is showing that the political parties are ready to embrace peace.
No, on the day of election, they go there peacefully. There's no fighting.
This is the first time Nigeria is having 91 political parties with 73 fielding candidates for presidential election. In Abuja, Usman Aliu, NTA News.
Now, Nigerians have once again been called upon to ensure that another set of general elections are conducted in peaceful atmosphere that will depict Nigeria as an indivisible entity among the Committee of Nations. The Christian Association of Nigeria reiterated this at a press conference to usher in the 2019 general elections while praying for divine guidance as the nation got it right in 2015. Omeka Amarachuku has the report.
As the general elections draw nearer, the political parties and electorates are gathering momentum to go to the polls, and the campaigns have started in earnest. It is indicative of this that the Christian Association is making a wake-up call to the nation for a peaceful conduct. The clergy called on politicians and electorates to forge a common front for the sustenance of desired culture of democracy.
Leading us is a sacrifice. You need to know that the world is not created for you alone. They should go speak to their consciences and should not set the nation ablaze because of their selfish ambition.
Khan is advocating the use of superior political ideology and issue-based campaigns to convince the electorates rather than hate speech that predicts fake news. In Abuja, Omenka Marchuku, NTA News.
Meanwhile, President Muhammadu Buhari has written to the National Assembly stating his reason for declining assent to the Electoral Act Amendment Bill 2018. National Assembly correspondent Ignatius Unko reports.
Letter from Mr. President.
In pursuant to Section 58, subsection 4 of the 1999 Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria as amended, Mr. President communicated to the bicameral legislature on why he withheld his signature to the 4th Electoral Act Amendment Bill 2018.
I am declining assent to the bill, principally because I am concerned that passing a new electoral bill this far into the electoral process for the 2019 general elections, which commence under the 2015 Electoral Act, could create some uncertainty about the applicable legislation to govern the process.
And in the House of Representatives, Speaker Yakubu Dogara also read the President's communication.
This leads me to believe that it is in the best interest of the country and our democracy for the National Assembly to specifically state in the bill that the Electoral Act can be applicable to elections commencing after the 2019 general elections.
Some members attempted to comment on Mr. President's letter, but House Leader Femi Gbajabiamila's motion reminded the House that such communication does not entertain comments at this point in time, judging from the House rules and procedures. Aside election concerns as raised by Mr. President, he also observed some legislative amendments that should be effected on the bill. From the National Assembly, Ignatius Nkwo, NTA News.
A coalition of civil society organizations for justice and equity has thrown its weight behind the decision by President Muhammadu Buhari to decline assent to the Electoral Amendment Bill of 2018 recently passed by the National Assembly. Omenka Amarachuku has the details.
Believes that assenting to a new electoral bill in about 70 days before the general elections will run contrary to the 2001 ECOWAS Supplementary Protocol on Democracy and Good Governance, which provides that no substantial law should be made to the electoral laws in 6 months. The ambiguity which the law may likely bring about could lead to litigations after the conduct of general elections.
As advocates of democracy, we take side with the action of Mr. President as it is in the best interest of the nation at this particular time. We urge all critical stakeholders in the electioneering process to understand and appreciate the decision of Mr. President to decline assent to the Electoral Amendment Bill 2018.
It is also of the opinion that the INEC has already made necessary legal and budgetary preparations for the 2019 general elections in line with the 2015 Electoral Amendment Acts. In Abuja, Omenka Amarachuku, NTA News.
Still on politics, frontline members of the Kwankwassia movement in Kano State have renounced their allegiance to Senator Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso and defected to the ruling All Progressives Congress with a resolve to work for the re-election bid of President Muhammadu Buhari. Governor Abdullahi Umar Ganduje and all party candidates for national and state assemblies, Awal Salisu, who witnessed the switchover of loyalty, reports that an incident took place at the presentation of flags to party candidates for national and state assemblies of Kano Central Senatorial Zone.
Such was the atmosphere at the rally, which excited teeming supporters of All Progressive Congress in Kano State. To them, it is a major political breakthrough in the state. At the rally attended by party supporters from 15 local government areas in Kano Central Senatorial Zone, former Minister of Education Malam Ibrahim Shekarau was presented with the party's flag as its senatorial candidate alongside 23 candidates for House of Representatives and 40 candidates for state legislature. Governor Abdullahi Umar Ganduje told party supporters to shun political thuggery by ensuring peaceful conduct of free, fair and credible elections. He said if APC voted into power, it will continue to implement development policies that will move Kano State and the country to the next level. Other speakers called on the party faithful to remain resolute in their determination to win all the elections come 2019. In Kano, Awal Salisu, NTA News.
In another development, former chapter executives and other officers of the All Progressives Congress APC in Akwa Ibom State have debunked stories of their defection to the People's Democratic Party PDP, saying there is no reason whatsoever for them to defect from the APC. Imo Itim Udo completes the report.
Coming under the aegis of APC founding members in Akwa Ibom State, the group said the event that announced their defection by proxy is strange in political history. According to the spokesman, Mr. Udwarakpo, the list that was displayed as names of those who defected from the APC to the PDP was deceptive, as people used old documents that contained their names for political propaganda.
Throwing names around to deceive people that are not here, to deceive the whole nation that there is a crack in APC. That is a lie. APC is one indivisible party and it is intact.
Some of those whose names were published on the alleged defection list said the information came to them as a surprise.
I'm not going anywhere. I'm in APC. APC is my party. All of us, we are intact. Our supporters and everybody, we are working for the progress of our party. Somebody just called me and tell me that my name is there.
In Ekedlugu government area, Akwa Ibom State, Imo Etimodo, NTA News.
And away from politics, the National Council on Information is meeting in Kaduna with a view to curbing the effects of hate speech and fake news in the country. Ibrahim Bello-Gunda has the story.
Fake news and hate speech have been responsible for engineering conflict in several communities. With the approach of the 2019 general elections, there are concerns about the role of the media in spreading fake news and promoting hate speech. It is against this backdrop that the Federal Ministry of Information brings together media chief executives, state commissioners of information and media practitioners to the 47th meeting of Council on Information to brainstorm on ways of curbing the trend.
I appeal to the media to thoroughly verify the credibility of news materials before going to the public.
We need to empower our people with high levels of media literacy.
NTA's Director General Malam Yakubu Ibn Mohammed and his FRCN counterpart, Mansour Liman, say the quality of information available to the voting public must be right.
Every story must have a source. So go to the source, try and verify the story. If you can't verify it, that one of the basic rules in journalism is anything we are not sure of, leave out.
Everybody now thinks that he can actually, be a journalist, which is wrong. You have to have the training, the proper training before you can become a journalist.
We must first have a country before we have broadcasting. So it's very important that broadcasters perform with a tremendous sense of responsibility, especially in critical periods like periods leading to elections as we have now.
Participants are expected to come up with recommendations on possible ways of combating fake news and hate speech. In Kaduna, Ibrahim Bello-Gunda, NTA News.
Now let's take some messages. We'll be back shortly.
Going up? Of course you are. And why not? With Glow Internet, built on Africa's largest wholly owned metro fiber network, the sky is, well, it is rather unlimited. Up is upbeat, seamless. Up is quick and easy access to all your favorite apps and entertainment. And there is no downside on a network committed to upping your fun and productivity. Get quick on the uptake, my friend, and upset the odds in your favor. Because on Glow, up isn't an upgrade. It is the upgrade. Going up?
Upgrade to a 4G SIM for free and get 125% bonus. Also enjoy unconditional 25% data bonus non-stop on all auto renewals. Dial *777# to choose a plan.
You in the air-conditioned office with the itchy throat. Strepsils. Girl in the spotlight with the raspy throat. Strepsils. You in the pollution. It's you. Dry throat. Strepsils. Hello in the downpour with the scratchy throat. Take Strepsils.
Strepsils, with its soothing medicinal ingredients, will heal the harm done to your throat from external factors.
Strepsils. Strepsils.
Strepsils, for a dry, itchy, raspy, scratchy...
Nigeria now still one of the few countries where number of pregnant women still they die from things we're not supposed to kill them high pass. Thank God for things like family planning or childbirth spacing, where they help reduce number of women where they die because of say they carry belle. When we plan and put space between the times we they carry belle, our mama and pikin them no go they die anyhow. If all the women we need within them fit use they control how they take get belle, what you they call contraceptives, don't go fit prevent the death of about 1.5 million pikin them and 31,000 women inside the next 10 years. Our leaders, una need to settle this matter by making sure say family planning services reach every woman inside we country. No woman supposed suffer or die because she want born pikin. We must join hand and get it together, make our future for bright. Now Federal Ministry of Health, they bring on this message.
Everybody dance now.
What? Louder. We are the strongest. No challenge can stop us, so Lord. And
We are the brightest. No darkness can blind us. We are the strongest.
Malta Guinness is packed with B vitamins to fuel your greatness.
The second edition of the Ratao NTA Headquarters Chapter Staff Day celebration will hold on 14th December 2018. Highlights of the event include Best Staff Awards, presentation of awards to distinguished members of the society, which will include Deputy Governor of Kano State, Dr. Nasiru Yusuf Gawuna, Abike Dabiri, Senior Special Advisor to the President on Foreign Affairs and Diaspora, Dr. Boboye Oyemi, Corps Marshal, Federal Road Safety Corps, Justice Usman Bello, FCT Chief Judge, and others. Speakers: Onoja Isaac, pharmacist and emotional intelligence expert; Okorie Daniel, CEO, Ionized Kagem Water Limited. Venue: NTA Arena, NTA Headquarters, Area 11, Garki, Abuja. Time: 4 p.m. prompt. Join us and celebrate our staff, the pride of our organization. Great NTA staff.
My name is Hajia Halita Aliu, a Natal pensioner, having served very meritoriously and even serving on the Pension Reform Steering Committee. I ended up without a pension. The National Council on Privatization, under the chairmanship of Vice President Atiku Abubakar at that time, decided to pay us 3 years pension on a take it or leave it basis. Over 16,000 Natal MTEL pensioners have struggled to get their pensions restored. Unfortunately, all attempts with successive administrations, did not yield any dividends. The quality of our lives, has been severely impacted, by the stoppage of our pension. President Muhammadu Buhari heralded good tidings. Over 10,000 of our members have already been restored to payroll. We are very, very happy. We are very, very grateful.
Nigeria, a land of promise, land of potential, rich in oil, arable land and solid minerals. Yet hunger, joblessness, homelessness and poverty are widespread. Over the years, Nigeria has suffered from hospitals without drugs, schools without teachers, and a huge infrastructure deficit. Clearly, we are yet to reach our full potential. And one of the reasons is because people choose bad leaders. Some even sell their conscience for a few thousand naira. For 2019 elections, don't sell your vote. Don't sell your future. Don't buy the people's lives. Vote selling is a crime against yourself. You will spend the next 4 years paying for it. Vote buying is against the law. Politicians, stop buying votes. People, stop selling your future. This message is from the National Orientation Agency.
Welcome back to NTA Network News. President Muhammadu Buhari has expressed Nigeria's formal appreciation to the government and people of Switzerland for their support in resuscitating the nation's economy, especially the return of illegally stolen funds. He stated this while exchanging views with the new Swiss ambassador to Nigeria, Mr. George Steiner. State House correspondent Adam Musambo reports.
The Swiss ambassador to Nigeria, Mr. George Steiner, was in the State House to present his letter of credence to President Muhammadu Buhari to formally assume duty in Nigeria. The president also received similar letters of credence from Ambassador Daniel Dagen of Belgium, as well as the Hungarian ambassador Sando Bia. At an audience with the Swiss envoy, President Muhammadu Buhari said the return of stolen funds and intervention in the northeastern crisis further indicate the Switzerland's government's commitment to the development of Nigeria. He noted that the facilitating role the Swiss government had been playing in the sub-region, particularly in reaching out to internally displaced persons, had been most helpful, saying the bilateral relations between both countries will continue to be strengthened. Ambassador Steiner said his government will always be disposed to supporting Nigeria at ensuring peace in the country. He told President Buhari that the Swiss government looks forward to having stronger relations on economic issues with Nigeria that will be mutually beneficial. The envoy pointed out that the ongoing reforms in the country already send right signals to investors. President Buhari, who also discussed with Ambassador Daniel Dargent of Belgium, said feasibility studies to revamp the Lake Chad Basin will require a diversion of River Ubangi in the Congo Basin. This, he explained, will improve the livelihood of more than 40 million people who survive on the Lake Chad Basin, urging the Belgian government to support the negotiation. The ambassador said his government will support any initiative that will improve the livelihood of the people. As he puts it, we are in a global world and we need to start evolving more on issues that directly touch lives, especially in supporting Nigeria, which will one day become a permanent member of the United Nations Security Council. And with the ambassador of Hungary, the president congratulated him on his posting to Nigeria, stressing the need to sustain the healthy relations that had existed between both countries for many years. Ambassador Bia said Nigeria and Hungary already had a strong pedigree in sports, especially football, that can be improved, assuring the president that he will work towards more exchanges between both countries by setting up a football academy in Nigeria towards promoting the game. Officers and soldiers of the Presidential Guards Brigade had given all the new envoys a befitting diplomatic welcome on arrival at the courtyard of the State House. Adamu Sambo, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the federal government says the era of absconding after collecting funds for projects is long gone in Nigeria. Minister of State 1, Power Works and Housing, Mustafa Baba Shehuri, gave the warning while inspecting federal government housing projects in Asaba, Delta State. Works and Housing correspondent Muhammad Amza Sheikh reports.
While other projects on the same site are on various levels of completion and almost completed, this particular project is at this stage, that is the DPC stage. Now, this contractor has collected his first and second installments, that's the payment for this project. Among several other bidders, Prince Hood Construction Limited won contract for the construction of a 3-story building of 24 flats at the site of the National Housing Program of the federal government in Asaba, Delta State. Among all the contractors that won contracts at the 82-unit site, Prince Hood was the first to demand for and receive mobilization fund immediately after the groundbreaking ceremony in February 2017. While other contractors were busy trying to deliver, Prince Hood disappeared, only to resurface and demand for another payment, which he ironically got, but still refused to mobilize to site.
There's not the type of government that can tolerate this type of nonsense. Yes. He is paid what he's due. Yes. And we expect that he delivers. There's a public trust. We will not take it from anybody. And on Monday, if I didn't see him, I will take the necessary action to see that I revoke this contract.
Another project slated for inauguration by the end of December but now shifted to February next year due to variation in design is the Federal Secretariat in Agua, Bayelsa State, where the minister reminded contractors that the old tricks of causing unnecessary delays on projects to seek for variation cannot be tolerated by the Buhari administration. However, housing projects in other states of the South-South zone are happily nearing completion as most of them work towards the December inauguration.
We want to thank the federal government, especially the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, the person of President Muhammadu Buhari. He has affected my life positively. I've been able to pay my bills and take care of my family as a man.
The Buhari administration says its second phase of the National Housing Program is set to commence in the next few weeks. Muhammad Hamza Sheikh, NTA News.
21 years after the construction of Nnamdi Azikiwe Mausoleum at Onitsha, Anambra State was initiated, the project has finally been completed by the Buhari-led administration. The Minister of Power, Works and Housing, Babatunde Fashola, who was at the mausoleum on a one-day working visit, also visited other federal government projects of strategic importance in Anambra State. Ekene Ndulwe reports.
Located in the heart of Onitsha, the project, comprising of the main mausoleum and the conference building, is designed to serve as a national monument and a tourism center in memory of the first president of Nigeria, Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe. Unfortunately, since the construction of the project commenced in 1997, it could not be completed as a result of non-performance by contractors handling the project, spanning several past administrations. However, in fulfillment of his promise, the Buhari administration has finally perfected the final resting place of the late Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe.
We had a mandate from the president to do all that was needful to finish it. And this is, I think, my third or fourth visit here, monitoring from then. Mr. President made a promise, solemn promise to Chuma, that if he's ever elected president of Nigeria, the first thing he will do is to complete this mausoleum. And we can see.
The Minister of Power, Works and Housing also inspected works at the Omonia axis of the Enugu-Onitsha Expressway, where rehabilitation of the failed portions is ongoing.
Commuters will have one carriageway fully completed, the 18 kilometers, before the start of the rainy season in May.
The next port of call was the Federal Secretariat in Oka, where works have reached 90% completion. From Onitsha, Ekene Ndulwe, NTA News.
Now, the people of Orok Hamo in Benue State residing in Abuja have resolved to build health and educational facilities in their community as part of their social responsibility and giving back to their people. At a fundraising event in Abuja, the community said they can't wait on government to do everything. Mamso Damien Detti reports.
Recalling just how it used to be way back at home, catching up on long-lost time with friends, relatives and associates. For certain, the ambience indicates something serious. Then the breaking of the kola, a symbolic traditional ritual which set the ball rolling for business to begin. It is the gathering of the sons and daughters of Okamu in Ogbadibo local government area of Benue State with one common goal and vision: the development of their community.
Proud to be Orokamu.
Previous achievements recalled have been the building of a modern police station, building and furnishing a free block of classrooms, with distribution of free uniforms and books to orphans, to mention just a few. Now the scope of intervention is increasing to focus on health and education.
Our community's population is rapidly increasing and more people require intervention and support. The poverty rate among our people has drastically increased and government presence within the community has correspondingly decreased.
These people of this community have decided to do this. It means that they are thinking about home because they will always go back home.
God is sending us to go in and rescue Nigeria and rescue his people.
Build capacity in terms of community development, in terms of political development, even spiritual development.
That is how it is with the people of Okamu. Momso Damien Lati, NTA News.
5,000 youths in Katsina State will benefit from a 750 million naira loan from small and medium enterprises and agri-businesses. Director General of the National Directorate for Employment, Nasir Mohammed Laden, disclosed this while disbursing microcredit to graduates of Micro Enterprise Enhancement Scheme in Katsina. Correspondent Bashir Ibrahim Nababa reports.
The Director General, National Directorate for Employment, Nasir Mohammed Laden Argungu, while disbursing the funds, said each of the 700 beneficiaries was given 10,000 naira interest-free loan to promote their trade. He noted that the Directorate remains committed to its mandate of empowering youth with entrepreneurship skills and promoting decent jobs for sustainable economic development of Nigeria, in line with the federal government's economic recovery and growth plan.
We are bringing 5,000 homes to Katsina. You look at it like the state alone will benefit with about 750.
Deputy Governor of Katsina State, Maniriaku, represented by the Commissioner of Commerce, Industry and Tourism, Abubakar Yusuf, said Katsina State government has since keyed into the federal government's medium and small-scale enterprises initiatives. A cross-section of the beneficiaries expressed optimism that the intervention will boost their small-scale businesses and even encourage other youths and women to become self-reliant. In Katsina, Bashir Ibrahim Nawaba, NTA News.
Coalition of civil society organizations working with Partnership for Advocacy in Child and Family Health at Scale project are coming up with innovative ways of ensuring consolidated and available funding for universal health coverage. Chidinma Ndubisi reports that as Nigeria commemorates International Universal Health Coverage Day, the group wants the 3 tiers of government to fund the second National Strategic Health Development Plan.
The concept of universal health coverage requires that every individual has access to quality health care services at little or no cost. This means that adequate funding must be readily available for those who need health care services so as to avoid out-of-pocket spending. Although Nigeria has signed to commit at least 15% of our annual budget to improving the health sector, the highest the sector has received is 7%.
Even when funds are released, there are challenges of utilization and accountability, mismanagement of resources, and lack of coordination among federal, state, and local governments.
In marking the International Universal Health Coverage Day, the coalition of civil society organizations working with the Partnership for Advocacy in Child and Family Health at Scale project is calling on the government to release the 2018 Basic Health Care Provision Fund and for the citizens to pitch in by being charged 1 kobo per second on every outgoing phone call.
Imagine if everybody uses 10 minutes on average a day, 1 kobo per second on that, it comes to about over 300 billion just to service health insurance scheme.
It assures that there won't be concerns for tracking the funds as the Open Government Partnership, a venture that promotes citizens' engagement with the government on transparency and accountability, has the mechanism to monitor the process. In Abuja, Chidinma Ndubisi, NTA News.
Thank you, Chidinma. The Chief of Air Staff, Air Marshal Sadiq Abubakar, says promotion won't be business as usual in an increasingly complex security environment, where new challenges call for the very best in terms of protecting the nation's territorial integrity. This was at the decoration ceremony of newly promoted air rank and commissioning of air warrant officers in Abuja. Defense correspondent Olajide Bello reports.
The successes recorded so far by the Nigerian Air Force in the combined efforts by the armed forces in tackling insurgency, experts largely attributed to provision of logistics by President Buhari's administration and a high level of professionalism displayed by personnel of the force, occasioned by a series of capacity building. This gallantry of the personnel is being rewarded with a touch of history as the force commissions 4 senior non-commissioned officers as flight lieutenant.
Presenting Air Vice Marshal Olakiji. Presenting Air Commodore R.K. Olariwaju. Presenting Flight Lieutenant G.H.
It is thus very important that the services are led by persons of exceptional leadership qualities if we must eliminate or minimize costly mistakes in the fog of war. This requirement is even higher in the case of Nigerian Air Force, given the complex nature of air operations and its relevance as being critical to success in any war.
14 air vice marshals, 36 air commodores and 4 astute air warrant officers were promoted to the next rank. From the headquarters Nigerian Air Force in Abuja, Olajide Bello, NTA News.
Now let's join Dotun, who is standing by in Lagos for more stories.
And welcome to Lagos. 2 African writers have emerged winners of the 6th Wole Soyinka Prize for Literature in Africa. The two lucky winners are Ugandan Harriet Anena and Nigerian Tanure Ojaide. Jane Ojukwu reports that the award has a price tag of $5,000.
Tanure Ojaide, whose collection of poems, Songs of Myself, and Ugandan Harriet Anena, author of a poetry collection titled A Nation in Labor, were selected by a 3-man panel of judges out of the 316 entries submitted for the competition.
It's a collection of about 5 parts. The first part is, you abuse yourself first before you have the authority to abuse others. So that's what I did. And then I criticized the society.
My book is titled A Nation in Labor. It's a social conscience poetry that tackles several issues, including the politics.
The award has produced 4 females and 4 males as winners. Professor Wole Soyinka, in whose honor the award was instituted, commended the winners and urged young African writers not to relent in creative writing.
It's been a real delight and excitement, and I say this everywhere, to see the new crop of female writers who've been coming out of this continent.
I'm really happy that we showcased African talents. So the two that eventually took home the prize, they deserve it.
The Wole Soyinka Prize for Literature in Africa is aimed at unifying Africans and celebrating great minds. In Lagos, Jane Ojukwu, NTA News.
Leading cargo handling company, Skyway Aviation Handling Company PLC, has issued its initial public offer on the Nigerian Stock Exchange. The public offer of 406 million ordinary shares of 50 kobo each at 4.65 naira per share, management says is to broaden the company's access to capital. Adiola Omokive reports.
Skyway Aviation Handling Company Limited was incorporated in 2009 to carry out ground handling and other ancillary services. Being the only government company salvaged from the defunct Nigerian Airways, SACO has worked hard to become the leading provider of passenger ramp and cargo handling services in the West African sub-region. The initial public offer of 406 million ordinary shares of 50 kobo each at 4.65 naira per share is in compliance with the share sale and purchase agreement executed in respect of the federal government's divestment of 100% equity stake.
What investor will have done was to just close down the company and make their money. But I can tell you he has invested heavily in terms of facilities and equipment. Now in Nigeria, I tell you that we have the best warehouse facilities in West African country. It is obtainable overseas in Dubai, in UK, Germany, France, is what you can see in our circle today.
Chief Executive Officer of the Nigerian Stock Exchange, Oscar Oyema, says this is the first initial public offer in the last 4 years.
The exchange provides a platform to support issuers to meet their business objectives, while also implementing strategic initiatives that have improved investor confidence and repositioned listed companies on the exchange as attractive investment opportunities.
The initial public offer, which opened on the 12th of November 2018, will close on the 19th of December 2018. SACO boasts of facilities and equipment to provide a broad range of ground handling services in the country. In Lagos, Adeola Omokive, NTA News.
You're still watching NTA Network News. More reports ahead after this timeout. Please stay with us.
I want to make government build more shops because I want my own shop.
I want government to increase the LSTF loan.
I want to make Lagos do more better road. No galloping, no go slow.
I want better schools for our children. I desire world-class equipment in our hospitals.
Let government build more low-cost housing.
We want more job opportunities and empowerment.
I want.
When Lagos calls, Sanwo-Olu answers.
Fellow Lagosians, my name is Babajide Olusola Sanwo-Olu. I hear your call for inclusive government, for continuity of the great works, for a better life for all of us. But as I hear that call, I don't stand there calm, and that call make we join hand in hand. Make we build that Lagos that all of us truly want.
Vote Babajide Olusola Sanwo-Olu for Governor of Lagos State. Vote APC. Cadbury Hot Chocolate 3-in-1. A delicious combination of rich cocoa and wholesome goodness of milk. Just add hot water to get an instant chocolatey treat that delights your senses. Cadbury Hot Chocolate 3-in-1. Just add hot water.
Team huddle.
But we lost.
Don't be tired, guys. This isn't a loss. It's a practice for winning.
Nothing makes a mother prouder than seeing her child growing up. But I know as he learns to lead, he'll face even more dirt, germs, and risk of illness.
That's why in changing seasons, you need strong Dettol protection. Because Dettol protects from up to 100 illness-causing germs.
Growing up needs Dettol.
Season's greetings from FCMB, my bank and I.
Wanna know what's coming, guys? The free beach ball! I guess I'd better start again. Oh, here we go, everybody! Free beach ball! Yes, guys, there's a free beach ball in every carton of Capri Sun. Get a carton, get a ball. It's time to play some more. Way!
Capri Sun, the taste of fun.
House of Cheese.
Please come join us. Mom says we have more than enough.
Wherever you may travel, whoever you will be with, we wish you a supreme Christmas. Be supreme, Nigeria.
It's an African one. Yeah. Whether you come here to break dance, you come here to shake hands, you come here to make plans. Never would it reach this motherland. Whether you come here to rock with me, oh, I've been up to find food, oh, everything they, oh, ever would it reach this motherland. Anywhere you go, London, USA, nowhere be like Africa.
Nowhere be like home. Anywhere you go, New York, Chicago. Nowhere be like Africa. Nowhere be like home.
This festive season, there's no place like home. Get a GoTV decoder and GoTenna and 1 month of GoTV Max subscription for only 6,900 Naira. GoTV. Live it, love it.
Thanks for staying with NTA Network News. We now have some bits of business news with Amina Nojem. Hello, Amina.
Hello, Jumai. Thank you. Vice President Yemi Osinbajo has described Nigeria as a leading investment destination for potential and serious investors, emphasizing that business opportunities are abundant and increasing in the country. The Vice President was speaking at the first Nigeria-German business dialogue in Germany. He noted that given the economic and trading developments in other parts of the world, Nigeria is now taking the lead as an investment destination. This was against the backdrop of the recent McKinsey report, which indicates that consumer spending in Africa was $1.4 trillion by 2015, with Nigeria, Egypt, and South Africa accounting for more than half of that figure.
Tried to do in the past few years is to ensure that we are able to hold the hand of businessmen who are working with us, that we're able to hold their hands and ensure that they're able to do their business.
Bilateral relations between Nigeria and Germany over the years has resulted in significant economic ties between the two countries. Germany has been a significant exporter to Nigeria, which is its second largest trading partner in Africa, recording an annual turnover of about $1 billion. Well, as far as the Nigerian stock market is concerned, mixed sentiments will prevail in the equities market with negative undertones this week. This is according to market experts, is already playing out as Tuesday's trading figures reversed Monday's bearish sentiment by marginally gaining 0.34% to close at 30,718.27 basis points with market capitalization at 11.200 trillion naira. The year-to-date return stands at minus 19.68%. Zenith Bank, Sterling Bank and FBNH were the most active stocks. The top gainers were Veritas, Law Union and UACN, while C&I Leasing, Prestige and Diamond Bank led the losers table. Well, Jumai, that's about the size of business package for now.
Thank you, Amina. I'm sure there's good news for stockholders. Now it's time to join Sadia in Sokoto for more stories.
About 4,000 additional rice farmers received 150 million naira under the Anchor Borrowers Program in Kebbi State. Usman Abdullahi Shehu reports that the fund disbursed is to support 2018-2019 dry season farming in the state.
Kebbi State has earned its place of pride in the Nigerian agricultural quest of the present administration, particularly in rice production. It could be recalled that on the 17th November 2015, President Muhammadu Buhari launched the Anchor Borrowers Program in Kebbi State. Since then, over 140,000 small-scale rice farmers in the state enrolled in the program. The 2018-2019 dry season fund disbursement will support 8,635 small-scale rice farmers. Every enrolled farmer is expected to receive 248,000 naira in cash and kind, which is collected installmentally.
The purpose of Anchor Borrowers Program is not to just give a farmer a loan. No, it is to equip him with the skills, agronomic practices, so that he can know how to invest in the right seedling, how to plant properly and on time, and to provide him the input, adequate fertilizer.
Beneficiaries expressed gratitude over the gesture, pointing out that the program has improved their production capacity. In Brunei Kebbi, Usman Abdullahi Shehu, NTA News.
Sokoto State government pledged to pay its counterpart fund to UNICEF under Northern Education Initiative before the end of this month. Governor Amin Waziri Tambuwal gave the assurance while flagging off distribution of materials to primary schools in the state. The Lato Abdullahi report.
The partnership between the Sokoto State Government, UNICEF, and the Northern Education Initiative has impacted positively on the provision of quality education to primary school pupils. More instructional materials are distributed to primary schools under the partnership to further facilitate teaching and learning process. Sokoto State Government has from 2016 to date paid its counterpart fund under the Universal Basic Education amounting to over 4 billion naira, in addition to other commitments aimed at making quality education accessible to all children.
We are committed to whatever we sign on to, and we go and live by the letters of our Memorandum of Understanding.
A lot of successes have also been recorded by the Consultative Committee on Education, being chaired by the Sultan of Sokoto, particularly through the adoption of Early Child Care Development Project in Islamia schools. In Sokoto, Lato Abdullahi, NTA News.
That's our contribution from Sokoto. It's now back to Jumai in Abuja. Good evening.
Yeah, another break beckons. Stay with the NTA.
With fondness in our hearts, we recall the passing unto glory of our beloved mother, sister, grandmother, great-grandmother, and aunt, late Mrs. Joyce Biebelamoye Monia nay Iones, who slept in the bosom of the Lord on the 11th of December 2015, exactly 3 years today. Mommy, we missed you so dearly and we are still basking in the sweet memories we share together. You were one who go the extra miles to put smiles on the faces of everyone you came across. Until this very moment, those sweet memories are still as fresh as they were when you left us to be with the Lord. We truly miss you, Mommy. Mommy, continue to rest in the bosom of the Lord until we meet to part no more. Adieu. And this is signed by engineers Simbi Keseye Wabote and Idubamo Iones Monia for the family.
With gratitude to God for a fulfilled life, we, the Ebubedike family of Obinagu Uti, local government area of Enugu State, announce the transition into glory of our husband, father, grand and great-grandfather, and uncle, Chief Obusulu Michael Ego Ene Ebubedike 1 of Obinagu, aged 95 years. Burial arrangements. Wednesday, 12th December 2018. Vigil Mass at St. Dominic's Catholic Church, Obinagu Udi, by 5 p.m. Wake follows at Ebubedike's family compound. Funeral Mass, Thursday, 13th December 2018 at St. Dominic's Catholic Church, Obinagu Udi. Interment follows immediately. Condolence visit, Friday, 14th December. Funeral ceremony by in-laws, friends, and other relations. Saturday, 15th December. There will be an outer service at St. Dominic's Catholic Church, Obinagu Udi, at 9 a.m. on Sunday, 16th December 2018. Chief Michael Ene is survived by children, great and great-grandchildren, among whom is Ambassador Fidelia Aguabata Njeze. Adieu Papa, Chief Sir Onogolu Cyril Ene, retired permanent secretary, announcer.
Welcome back. Segun Toriola wins gold medal at Abuja 2018 as NTA is commended for its coverage of the games.